Hi, good afternoon. Better late than never. So yeah, today I want to do some stages. That's the next thing. That would be the most prudent thing to do. What I'd really like to do is testing, fixing, balancing, getting into the game design. That's what I'm here for. And then short of that, I would like to be doing at least I find I quite like animating fire, and I like drawing faces and stuff. But drawing environments is easily one of my least favorite things to do. But I think it's wise to start with the thing that you least want to do, and we're just going to try and stack these tasks and get them done. So, excuse me. Thanks everyone for joining. Well, we are just going to be, if anyone's here. And yeah, let's see how we get on. Right, so I think one of the things, so yeah, in combination with me not wanting to do this and it being very hot, I've just had a shower, so I've got some of my energy back. I did my exercise this morning, a bit knackered, but so it might be a short stream, but I think one of the main things, and this is one of the tricks if you're ever feeling a bit overwhelmed, is to break down the tasks. So if I just have like plain sort out edges, yeah, that's fine. Ramparts, add barriers to enter edge. Yeah, so I need to add barriers to like stop people from escaping the level, basically. There needs to be some limit to it. Hopefully it's big enough that no one ever finds the limit, but add bits of scenery. Yeah, okay, yeah. Odd cracked short wall. What else could we add to the ramparts? I'm not sure, actually. And then the bridge, I would like new wooden floor. Also slightly animated. So yeah, I would like if the bridge floor just kind of had a little bit of movement. I think that would be quite fun. Even if it's purely cosmetic, like it's not actually moving the characters around. And then the war camp is actually one that I'm not sure about, because it's not actually necessary for the level for the map. The orc defensive point is the bridge, so I might actually cut that. And it actually makes me think of another thing: is at some point it would be fun to really experiment with some of these and do even like MOBA like levels. And then the war camp kind of struck me like, what if there were actually like a bunch of tents that you had to go around destroying? Well, yeah, we can have the war camp as it is. I think I just didn't want to. That made me think of that. So I did actually put down the line, try MOBA like mode, because I think that'll be fun, where you've got to like go to towers and if the enemy hero is like constantly harassing you and so on. I think that'll be fun. Kind of, yeah, just do like a single player MOBA, or maybe even try and make it multiplayer. Who knows? Could be fun. Obviously that's much easier said than done, but that's why it's down the line. Like, it's not an essential thing, it's complete, but that mode could end up being more fun than the main mode, so something to experiment with before being hasty and releasing the game. Okay, let's do this. Just really going to go easy on myself. If the stream if I'm give up after an hour or two, that's fine. I just want to do a little bit. So, where are we at? So the scenes, main game. And if we look at the... Yeah, and so what happens if we play, the edge ends up being a little bit... so like we end up spawning stuff outside of the edge. And then what I would like is some way to stop, like, because basically you just get to a black edge, and then you can't see anything. Whereas it would be nice if there was some kind of rim of trees. So I think I can just put them in manually. Even if the stuff ends up spawning on top of them, we'll see how that goes. So yeah, that's a good start. But I think the first thing is that we're actually spawning stuff outside of... I guess that's probably okay. GM planes. And then I think where we generate scenery pieces. Oh, so that should be... Okay, so then if we go to stages... And we find in the planes, it says 595. I'm just going to bring that down to 480 because that's the size of the map we have. So we can see where our walls are. That tells us where the edges are. So 480. And then, yeah, same on the Z-axis. So just change all these numbers to 480. And what I hope is that people, unless you're like, and having played it quite a bit, unless you're really trying, you're not going to get to the edge. But if you do try, you probably will. And I just kind of like want to kind of discourage that, I guess. But it would be nice if the edge was not like just a black void, but just maybe some trees that you couldn't pass. So that should be interesting. Because it's not something that has to be super pretty. It's not something that's player facing too much, but yeah, I will want to just get like a cluster of trees and copy paste that around the edges here. Hopefully that doesn't like mess with optimization or anything. And what I'd like to do is get these grass pieces. So because if that's the edge of the level, we still want to see the grass. So actually I think okay. And let's just go clockwise around. Don't know if there's a better way to do this, but 0, 3. It's annoying that I have to click it again to duplicate it. And yeah, I guess this is why a lot of this, some of this is busy work, some of it's kind of creative drawing work. I think if I can kind of get the easy parts off, and then I can like just refine the list, break the list down into smaller pieces, so that when I look at a note that says make the graveyard, I can actually like just go through a series of things I have to do to make that happen. Probably could have just grabbed. Could have made my life a bit easier there, never mind. Okay. So that's just going to mean these are very inexpensive objects. I think that's going to mean that even when we're at the edge, we can see grass beyond the bit that we're going to want to go. Interestingly, we might want to see scenery there as well. We'll see. Maybe what we do is we make this 500, so the scenery creeps over the edge a little bit. Save that, and then we're going to want to create our wall of trees, which probably I should have done before making these outer bits, just because it's very clear where the line is. But so I'm going to want to get some trees, map, trees, no, not map, scenery, plains, trees. Let's bring them all in. And I guess I'll call this tree wall, just to keep them all together. So to find the edge, it's there. As long as this is mostly near the edge, that will do. I will just temporarily move this a little bit so I can see where the line is. Okay, so these trees have ended up in a very weird Y position. And actually, why did that go to 1.2? Oh, I see. So let's go global. And we'll just want to kind of do like a line of trees and try not to be too paint by numbers, but again, it doesn't have to be super beautiful. And yeah, as long as they're sort of that close to each other. Let's see, looking at those little colliders. And I also don't mind if someone is incredibly clever and is able to get out of the scene. The thing is, I think I already have a thing that's like, if you get out of the scene, we pull you back in, basically. It's the returner, yeah. These returner objects that I have. If you end up anywhere in there, then you get teleported back in. So don't have to worry about that anyway. Okay, and so I think I can probably get away with just copy pasting this line a few times. Maybe don't make it, maybe alter the, should definitely be within that width, and just kind of randomly alter these a little bit. And then we can grab all of them again. And this is the genius work of pasting this down. But you know, this is part of the level. I could probably get some kind of code to do this. Is it too late to do that? So it would just be like find a line. But actually I think, especially it's like save on loading just a tad, I think it would be better to do it like this. Just do it manually. Is that a good idea? Should I do it with code? I would have to make a new bit of code, basically, that sort of says every, that's about a bit less than 15, no, what's that, a bit more than 50, 159, every 30, oh wait, no, they're not next to each other. So like every 2 units, make a tree, at this position, at this X position, and then warble the X position a little bit. Is that going to be easier than just, no, I think it is easier just for me to copy and paste it. Even though we end up with something quite massive and something quite unwieldy. If it ever comes that I have to do it again, okay, then I'll do it with a sequence, but I think this is just not too difficult. And I think it's just a slightly better alternative to just having, you know, a black void, right? Like nobody wants to get to the edge and just see that there's a black void. At least if there's a line of trees, you can imagine why you can't go past there. So yeah, we're going to need a lot of this though, but it should get easier to do, obviously, as it gets bigger. Yeah, would it have been quicker to do it by code? I guess in some way, while it would have been quicker, it would have required me to put on my brainy cap a little bit. Okay, so we'll move this out, and then that's as far as we want it to go. Okay, I just wanted to double check that I hadn't already duped all of those. So then, boom. bring it all the way down here. Okay. Then we can grab all of these ones, hopefully just by grabbing them. Like that. And hopefully we're not just grabbing like the sprite renderer, but the entire object. Yeah. Okay. So then we can take that whole thing. Should we tree wall R. Just had a thought, which, yeah, I think I'm going to do. Just had a thought. So what I want to do is get rid of all of these colliders. Oh, brilliant. It's actually on the object. So I can just grab all of them and just go, actually, for you, mate, we don't need a collider, because that's just going to be, I think that's going to be tricky. That is going to make it like take longer. I mean, I think that might be slightly less performant. I feel like that could make an impact, but we will. But we've already got our blocker. We've got our invisible wall there already, so that should work just fine. Why does that feel? Yeah. So you can kind of nudge yourself into these trees a little bit, I guess. I suppose that's fine. We could move them a little bit further to the left, I think. I think that's a good idea. Like that. Yeah. Okay. And then we're actually going to be missing some at the top. So here's what I'm going to do. Yeah, we'll just do it from here. Get in there, have a look exactly how far we want it. There we are. Right. Okay. About there. Okay, and then we're going to have to do this whole thing again. But let's tree wall L, tree wall R. And rather than taking the parent object, oh wait, yeah, rather than taking the parent object, we will just take them each individually and move them over to where exactly is the right line? Should have kind of, oh wait, no, because they're not all exactly in the same XPOS. But yeah, sort of about there. I mean, if we ever run into it and find it's a problem, or if someone reports the bug, it's an easy fix. But yeah, I think that's about right. Just want to see that it's kind of very much on the line. Yeah, good. All right. And then, yeah, we can just use that as a reference. So I will take tree and give me a tree 1. Quite fun to take the first one. And tree 2. And Control C. Get out of tree wall L. new one, create empty, tree wall B for back. These will live here. Because they don't actually have to be as, well, I don't know. Yeah, they don't actually have to be as close, I wonder. Yeah, I think they're technically actually much further away from each other, even though it feels like they're touching. And yeah, like again, because we could put them this close to really like, no, you couldn't fit through there, but I think this is fine. It's just like, look, don't, you found the edge of the map, well done. Now stop, you know. Okay, so we'll do the same thing again. Very pro stuff here. And yeah, it is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There's a very noticeable pattern, but that's fine. Again, we don't want players to come here. Once they find the edge once, they're not going to come back. Like, there's no incentive to just go in the same direction on this level. Yeah, I'm happy to at least get a bit of work like this done today. Not my best day for sure, for several reasons. Mainly, but the main reason is just that I don't like doing environments, especially like tedious, boring stuff like this. Could have been fun to program something for it, but it's just like, let's just do it manually. Okay, so then we take all of these. But first, hold on. Yeah, that's tree wall R. We just want these ones. Tree wall B. Tree wall F. Grab all of these. Bring them down. Okay. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Your coffee. But can you grab it? Because I'm not
Sure.
decent.
Thank you.
You're welcome, darling.
Right. Okay, that's that done. I mean, I'll need to test it, but we're going to get into a big testing phase in a bit. Sort out edges on the planes. Okay, now we want to go to ramparts, and I think I want to see... Actually, it just occurred to me. So what happens in the story? Because I'm just thinking, okay, I need to create an environment where I can easily test the ramparts, but actually I could make like a sort of way to break the sort of level selection, or I can actually just get to that point in the story and sort of do everything else up until then, which would actually be cool. Yeah, so if I look at the story, so I'm looking at my big story mirror, and here's a list of missions. And so Randar fights the orcs, that's like tutorial. Then we have the base tutorial, and then it's pick any human to fight against the orcs in the plains, and you can choose any human, and that's kind of how you're going to like get your currency. And we'll say something like, you need to be able to survive 10 minutes, and you can retry as many times as you like until you can survive 10 minutes to then unlock the next stage, which will be orcs versus humans. And then it kind of runs in the same way. We don't need to tutorialize the orcs. It's like you'll have a mission to do, which should hopefully be like, I mean, you might get it first try. You might need to grind a little bit. We'll get the balance right. Ideally, I want it to be that like you're going to want to have to do it a couple times. But like if you're not good at the game, or if you fail, yeah, you could just upgrade your stuff, and it should be quite quick to like get to winning that fight. And then humans first fight the orcs. So what I'm thinking is I could do everything up until here, and then I'll naturally unlock this fight, and then that would be a good time to test it. So actually, it doesn't make sense for me to do stages yet. I should just get to that point in the story. And yeah, I think I'm going to do that then. I mean, there's also UI. Well, then, so UI glow up comes first. So yeah, we will shuffle stages. I think it will be fun to do stages as they come. But before we crack on with testing and fixing the story and sorting out all the skill trees and the progression systems, the next thing should be the UI glow up, which I have broken down into smaller pieces. Like, yeah, check each and every panel. I was thinking of this last night, like level up panel should have a quick grow animation. Then each upgrade should also... So instead of just appearing on the screen, the level up UI will go whack, and then each button will go whack, whack, whack. And I just think that's just a nice bit of animation, which if coupled with some nice sound effects, because that's what I'm going for with the UI. Yeah, level up panel should have a quick grow animation, then each upgrade should also have quick grow animation. And that should be our sort of style. Also, we need intro or like title screen. And again, it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but if you just have like survivors kind of appear like one letter by letter, and then army of appears on top. So survivors letters appear one by one. Then army and then of fall on top of it. Then each button sort of grows out to size. Yeah. So then there's just this animation to it. And I guess, yeah, one of the things I ought to do today is like, so yeah, I've kind of just talked myself out of moving on to the ramparts now. I'll explain that again. I could create a scenario where I make it so that we can just have the ramparts available. So like we just add quick play. and then I can like easily get into that scene, because I can't just see it by going to the scene. I mean, if we go to the scene, the way we do that, and this probably ought to change as well. We need to basically just be loading the object that we need rather than switching the other ones off. But this one's very simple, you see. But the detail comes in the fact that each of these tiles gets randomly... There's a random chance it will become a cracked tile, and that looks quite good. And then we've also got the half walls. And it's actually basically done. I do just need to like add an edge to it, but I need to kind of see it in the scene to see how it's working, basically. And the quickest way to do that, I guess I could activate free play. Even if I do end up like plowing on with the actual game, let's activate free play. So that will be a mission. Free play. And where will free play live? So we go to, because I'm not sure, I don't think I've done this. So basically, you click on a mission in the map, but you should also just at any time from the UI be able to just hit free play down here, I guess. And that will basically run a mission. So yeah, how would that look? I feel like I can take this button. Play button. No, I probably could have just made it again, but okay, so then we've got our... That comes, this should probably be in a folder now. Decorations, and that's everything from mountains to tree stumps in its own little folder. Let me just double check. Ah, yeah, I hate this. Just zero that out. Everything from... Okay, okay. Okay, that just makes this scene a bit nicer to look at. And so we've got, yeah, the controls there. So if we had a play button in the same place as in the other thing, which just says free play. So we might actually just want text. Or maybe we can still have the button, but like text. And this won't be on. You'll have to unlock this. I don't like. You have to do the tutorial at least before unlocking this. So, and it can just live at the bottom right there. I think that's a decent look for it, at least until we update the UI. But it's going to be quite simple. So map canvas. I'm not going to worry too much about size and. Yeah, maybe the text should be larger, but the buttons should be smaller. yeah, like something a bit like that. I don't know why I'm spending time on that, but yeah, free play. It's clearly a different kind of button. We need the text, so we'll need to translate that as well. I'll set up the code for that. So then we go map, and we have a button called... Wait, what's the play button doing in the map? Oh, that's from the missions, I see. Yeah, okay. Free play button. And then that'll need... And then... Open mission. So it's just telling you whether you've done it, and you'll never have finished free play. And the header, so then mission equals missions dot get mission. Do we have a get mission? Oh, we can just go missions dot free play. Oh, that's lovely. That's the way it always should have been. Good. Right, yeah. Mission equals missions dot free play, and then we just set that, and then and that should just work. I reckon that will just work. Let's see. We'll definitely need to set up the button here, which is something I usually forget. But that's a pretty simple one. I reckon that will just work. Let's make sure we've named this. Okay. It's indeed this one, yeah. Okay. And I'll just pop a quick thing in. Damn, do we not have like update language? I mean, we could just do like an on enable. I'm wondering if I should start putting those things like, so if we have the button, if we have the text, I could just add a script to the text that's just like on enable, change the text to the language, and then it's out of the way of anything else. Now let's just do it here. This free play button, what is that? That's, yeah, it's a button. Okay, so we'll have to go free play button dot yeah, we'll do a get child 1 0 1 2 3 4. It's not very great. Free play button dot transform dot get child. Not the best way to do it. But we are going to do a big UI overhaul soon. We should have like it set up as like my own component where I can, because basically I think a button, to be honest, I think it would be nice if Unity's button linked to a text. But there you go. Get child 4 dot get component text mesh. Text equals free play, and then this is going to exist in a switch save load dot current profile dot language, and then we just do a case hello. Case 0 and then that's set up for currently this is the only bit of text on buttons, and that's on purpose. This could say back, but just because for this exact reason I avoid it. Yeah, I mean at some point I'll should I do like, I'm gonna start tagging like translate all caps, and then when I do a find all translate with case sensitive caps on, then that'll just find all the bits in the game that need translating that I can when it comes to the translation phase, or if I wanted to do an update to the demo or something, I could just update the translations. All right, good. So that's there. Let's see if that works. And then ideally I'll be able to pick any stage. Although, yeah, let's just see how it works. Let's just see what's locked and unlocked and so on. So this should load me back to the title screen. And we have free play. That's not very pretty. So where should the free play button go? Okay, let's rearrange that then. So I think the free play button should go in the bottom left. And the controls can go in the bottom right, and they can be obscured by the mission panel. So let's just see that. Okay, and of course that's going to want to come in front. So if that can just go here, please. And then that's fine. That works nicely. And then let's just make that little bit of text aligned to the right. Simple, simple. And there we go. All right, so then free play's down there. All right, let's try that again. I mean, it worked. It's just the UI was in the wrong place. And then what do we have available here? Because I can just, while I'm doing this, just unlock everything. And that's probably going to be the wise thing to do in these final crucial moments, or just while I'm doing stages. Okay, this time it didn't work. I think probably I did something stupid. I did. It's this part that should come off. It's always a nested one because you want the script. Although, doesn't make a difference in this case. So maybe that shouldn't be nested. Okay, but the thing is, I think they're all locked. Or I wonder if it's something else. So they're all locked. So who's locked? We'll find out pretty quickly. So let's go stages. And unlocked equals true. So for the moment, stages.clear. Good, good. Okay. Cheat or testing for each stage. Stage in stages in all stages. Stage.unlocked equals true. And let's see if that indeed gives us all the stages. Because otherwise there might be something about... Because on the story mission, a story mission is essentially you're just locked to certain stages and characters, and various things will happen during the mission. But as far as the the character select is concerned, yeah, we're just locking you into certain stages and characters. So we go like that, and then we have access to the ramparts, and I need to set it up so that I can pick my enemy hero, but that's not crucial right now. So much to do. There's so much to do. And yeah, we got little rocks. We got little cracks. So it works. I'm kind of tempted just to play. And the little horde that comes in the bottom, like, I'm not super keen that needs to be like an actual image. The rocks are a nice touch. So one of the things I want to do, besides correct that little gap that seems to have appeared, is make some of these half walls like a bit cracked. That's really not that necessary. It's just something I thought of. So is this level even lacking? I feel like at this level I can kind of say is done. I need to fix those half walls. In fact, I can do that at runtime because it's a prefab. So we go prefab, scenery, ramparts, short wall, and somehow it seems like, yeah, there's a gap there. Ha. Is that because there's a gap here? There wasn't always when this ran for plenty without problems like that. But yeah, this one's actually even coming over a little bit. But we are going to want to stretch that out a tad. I'm not going to worry about rounding the numbers. And we're going to want this actually to be like, if anything, it should be in. No, not over those lines. Kind of this weird like 2.5D thing that's happened here, but I quite like it. And then I think this bit can just come in. It's so gnarly the way it kind of works. Yeah, let's just extend that a bit. Or do we need to extend it or just move it? I think a bit of both. Okay, wait, no. Like that. And just a little extendy. I mean, maybe I should just use a 3D object. But this just felt like kind of easier at the time. And yeah, it's weird when you get up close because of the perspective. This only really works at the angle we see it at. And then so this would need to... yeah, it's just a tad too long. Okay, and we'll see pretty quickly if that's worked. And then for basically we want to take this, and the only difference is, so let's try that. Let's try and just get this to cover that. How is that the XPOS? I would have thought the middle is, oh no, I guess not. The middle is about there. Okay, that's going to be awkward. But yeah, this would be 45 minus 45, and we'll do a global, and just try and get it to sit in the same spot, so we don't have to worry about the length again. This is very, very like hacky stuff here, so I apologize, but that's what we got. All right, so this should not have the same problems. And then what we can do is we've got this bit here. We can say, so if I save that, does that update in the scene? Not sure it does. because the prefab's already been instantiated. But yeah, I'm confident that'll work. And then what we could do is just make half of them like a little bit broken. But I don't think that's really necessary. Again, I'm kind of in this odd like spot between doing what's necessary and just kind of just getting everything done. But yeah, we can do free mode. Okay, so the thing that I want to see to make this make sense is what happens at the edges. And where are our invisible walls? So obviously we've got a lot of floor tiles. So invisible wall to the right is there, so that is indeed the edge. So what I want to do is make it so maybe what we do is we bring in the edge to 500. Yeah, that seems wise. Yeah, let's just say like we just need to kind of see how it works in the scene because I can't really remember how these numbers really end up being. But yeah, this kind of brings it to like, so if this was 500, we would want the walls to keep like the detail to keep going to like 550s where we can see it. And then what I want is basically just, rather than it just cutting off the wall suddenly, obviously it would be much, much nicer if we had some kind of natural diegetic blocker. So what would that look like in this context? Would it just be half walls arranged, or like some boulders, or like I could just put the trees again? It'd be quite funny. But basically we need something to stop the player from being able to go out of bounds. And it would be nice if that wasn't just the graphics stop, but instead maybe some kind of like I could do some like big stones. I haven't drawn big stones yet. I suppose big stones wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt to have that as part of scenery. My hair looks crazy. Yeah, and then big stones could go in the plains as well. And then here we could just do big stones, and you can sort of imagine that, yeah, you can't get past there because some siege damage has, like, you know, like, just at least something that makes sense. We can't use trees. I think, obviously, by the way I've done the half walls, we can't just rotate them and put them on the side. I think just a bunch of rocks will do. And if I'm doing a bunch of rocks, might as well make them look nice and might as well use them in our other scenes so we can actually include that in the plains background, and it gives me ideas like for some of the levels later, like we could have more of these rocks. So yeah, let's do a big old rock. So we'll go sprites, scenery. I'm going to copy from, so I'm going to open the tree just to get a sense of scale. I'm going to save this as boulder, and I guess it can live in plains. So boulder, and I would love to put some kind of Chris Redfield reference here, because I do like me some sloppy Chris Redfield punching boulders references. That's my jam right there. Is this off black? It's 19. It should be, well, yeah, that's our color. Yes. Let's just do that, even though we're not actually on the trees. Okay, so we do, what does a boulder look like? It's just a big old kind of rocky looking shape. Nothing crazy. I can look a little bit at Don't Starve rocks. Yeah. Maybe we can go more into the Don't Starve style. I do like me some Don't Starve. This is a Don't Starve rock. Let's put that back up here so I can keep an eye on it. So I'm gonna do, and I don't mind if it's like scarily similar. I'm gonna call this homage. So I'm gonna do the Don't Starve formation of rocks here, where we have sort of one roundish one like that. That's quite the Don't Starve was like one of my main inspirations to like get in and start making indie games. And a lot of it was like, I think it was one of those days where I had spent like 50 quid on some new AAA game. Like I just spent 50 quid on a Resident Evil game and finished it within a weekend and been a bit like and then spent a tenner on Don't Starve and played it for the next like month or something, and I was like, indie games. Indie games. Because it's not just that I was like cheaper, but it was like I spent more time with it. And it's not because like I wanted to. Nothing could have pulled me away. And then we've got two little ones. And this is, I'm going to call this homage. If Clay sends me a cease and desist, it's like, no, actually, mate, like that's what our rock formations look like. I'll cease and desist if they ask me to, but I'm going to call this homage. Because I do love those games. The Clay ones have like a double thick outline on the outside. And I do want to start experiment. That's right. I do want to experiment more with just kind of having like double thick outlines. So I would have just done this whole thing with the double tool, just to get the outline of the object. But if I do that, I'm going to have to do it for everything. But I think that is quite fun. I mean, could we do it? So the tree, it would need it for the tree as well. I'd need to do this for each of the trees. I guess that wouldn't be too big a deal. Oh, should I do that? What else would it work for? I mean, because the bushes and stuff, they're quite small. But I think for these objects that you can't actually move through, might be worthwhile. And it's not actually that difficult for me just to... I don't know. Because if I do it like this, I should do it for all of them. But if objects can't be moved through, they should have a double line. And I actually think maybe the characters would have looked better. Let's have a look. Maybe the characters would have looked better with a double line outline, just to make it really clear where they are. But I think it's too late in the game to make that kind of art choice. I think it's something I'll think about later. I don't know where to note that, but I do happen to have a little note here about tutorials, and I'm going to put double line, double width for object outlines. And I think that kind of is a good visual game language, like single outline for things that are basically just decoration. But if it's actually going to block you like a tree or a boulder will, then it could have this double outline. And that actually wouldn't be too difficult to... So yeah, I'm going to try it. I'm going to go for it. Bit late in the game, but I am going to go for it. And just the outline. Right? And then would we have it here as well? Like, just for these like big objects. Because it does look quite nice, I think, just straight away. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. So then we get our, I'm pretty sure, like do we decide on a rock color? I don't think we have one in particular. And then we will take a lighter version of that. I haven't got exact colors, so, you know, sue me. And we kind of want, so the clay ones are really like, they're just dark at the bottom and sort of generally light overall, but that's too much of departure from our art style. We just kind of want like bit of shadow. Generally the light would be coming from the top left. So we kind of just imagine what that would look like. This is shaping up quite nicely, I think. Oy. And goddamn, I think I'm getting better at art. This double outline is just such a simple trick for these bits of scenery like this, but I feel like that just gives the item so much more style and weight. So I'm quite pleased with that. Astro, stop molesting your sister. It's my cat. What's up, Astro? So that's a rock. I don't know. So what we might have to do is basically redraw that, but with the single outline, sadly. Okay, so that will be one. Should I... I'm going to just copy this 3 times before I do different versions so that we can kind of see how this one looks. So let's export that. So this is... Please don't crash the computer. I'm sure everything's fine. Let's unplay this. So, okay, yeah, I mean, I really wasn't feeling good today, but I feel like actually so far this has been a pretty productive afternoon. I was not in the mood to work today. Combination of stuff in real life and it being, I think, 35 degrees, which in Spain it's like that's a normal one. In the UK, that's like my body's not ready for that. So it does throw me off. And I just hate doing environments compared to all the things that I do. Have to, you know, all the different hats I have to wear as a solo dev. I love making the game. I love designing it and balancing it and playing it. I like programming. I even like animating certain things. And I like animation and I like drawing characters and sometimes weapons and icons. I really don't like drawing scenery. I don't like it. There's so many jobs for level designer that I should probably apply for, and it's like I could probably do them, but I don't like it. I don't like level design. I don't like environment design. I know it when I see it, you know. It's just a skill that I'm not willing to learn. And level design doesn't really apply to this game. It's just, here's an open map, here's one where the enemies come at the top. You know, it's just different shapes of enemy spawns, really. And then the theming to go with it. So... upgrades. I mean, UI glow up. Yeah, that'll be good at some point. Did I get rid of? Yeah, we just need to do testing. Yeah, test and fix artifacts. Let's do UI and stages. Let's get these annoying things that I don't like doing out of the way, and then they're done. Oh, what happened? Connect your encoder to start preview. What's going on? Have I lost? Am I gone? No, apparently. Stream was saying I was gone for a bit, but apparently not. All right. So yeah, so we'll take our sprites, scenery. Where did we save it? Oh, we haven't saved it yet. Boulder, sprites, scenery, planes, boulder. Scenery, planes, boulder. I'm actually just really happy with how that... It's like very simple, but it looks nice. Oh, bonjour, monsieur. 41 degrees there. Is that... Are you in Spain? So I think it's 35 here, but it's like in England, 35 is like... It's kind of like... It's kind of pathetic, really, but... When things get hot here, just everything's cancelled. And also when things get cold here. And every time it's like, oh my god, I can't believe this. It's just because, yeah, 1 month of the year it's absurdly hot. And sometimes it snows. Very rarely. And we just freak out here when that happens. We're just like, you know what, I'm not getting involved with life today. But when you're a solo dev with 2 children, you have to soldier through, don't you? And I could just get another job, but I like making games and I want to be able to make a living making games. So I'm soldiering through the hot weather. How are you feeling, Monsieur? Are you on the recovery? Are you on the mend? So that looks like 128. 128 with the pivot at the bottom. Slice, apply. Out we go. And then I will take a tree prefab, a tree fab if you like. And I will just copy that and call it boulder. And we will have a look at this lovely looking boulder here. Because yeah, I think we want that double shadow. It's a large object that will interrupt movement. But then the shadow will need... Oh yeah, that's tricky because that doesn't look very good. I think I noticed that with trees, things looked good with a flat bottom, or like if you have a flat bottom that doesn't come up, like just the way that I kind of hack at shadows in this game. It's sort of yeah, the way that I hack at shadows, it doesn't really work so well for this kind of shape. But we'll have to see that in the scene because the rotation is actually controlled by something else. Anything tagged with shadow. Hold on a second. Oh, well done. Yeah, good luck with the surgery. Wait a second. I'm just thinking if I'm doing a find game object. Okay, this is just at start for one frame. Okay, good. Good. I'm glad. I was worried that I was doing a find game object with tag shadow, but that's just how we add things to the list. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I mean that's what it comes down to. And again, if I can't draw like a specific single thing that looks good, but once you put them all together, it starts to look like a sort of decent looking scene. And again, as always, I think the key is make things move and make things react to your presence. I'm really happy to have stolen this boulder from Don't Starve. I'm actually really proud of that. I just feel like that's a clever thing that I've done. And so the edge of the boulder might be a bit bigger. Like that. So we can just go to 0.5. Like you can't go anywhere near this. Okay. And we'll just stick with 1 for now. So then I think scenery. How do we generate scenery? So we have a script called scenery, lovely. And we can, right next to trees, make another list of game objects called boulders. And then back to GM, no worries, back to GM, back to where we generate scenery. We do, if it's plains, we do trees, and let's do boulders, generate boulders, scenery.boulders, and probably we're going to see like half the amount of boulders as we have trees. I wonder if I should be like generating this scenery kind of on the fly rather than all at the beginning. And I wonder if it's like, if I should be like deleting them when, you know, like just to, I wonder if there's too many objects in the scene. Because each of these 400 objects that we're adding will also have a shadow and also a soft shadow. So yeah. But yeah, that should work. And at the moment, obviously, it's just got one object in it, but actually what I'll do is I'll just add it 3 times. So then, where is scenery? Does that come at start method? Not sure it does. I think I have to be in stuff. Is it here? Do I have scenery here? I don't think I do. No. So we have to go to main game. And then we have GM scenery. There it is. Maybe it should go on the other thing. And then we have boulders. We'll add 3. Prefabs, planes, boulder, and we'll just put that in all 3 slots. And then basically when we make other versions of the boulder, we'll just put those in the other slots. And should I... Because I wonder if when I load a scene in Unity, does it get... Is a big object that's with lots of objects inside that is switched off, is that hurting performance? And could I just current stage, selected stage, stage equals, yeah, so character select stage. That seems a bit odd. Oh, okay, so we do a spaghetti if statement. It should be a switch statement if anything. We do a little statement saying turn that level on, and then we should probably turn all the other ones off. But then maybe loading these empty bits. So we should probably change the way we program this. Like I should have the stages as prefabs. Yeah, I'm going to do that. And I think if we've got stages on stuff, scenes. So pivoting a little bit here, but I think this is going to be better. So we get stuff. We go stages. There it is. At the moment, this just stores some information about stages, sets them up. But what I would like to do, public game object planes obj, and we need one of those for each stage. So this is just storing the prefab. Okay, there's our prefabs. And then when we come into the thing, and then how do we do this? Yeah. We will do an instantiate. Game object, new stage. I don't think we even need to store it. We just go equals instantiate character select dot stage, like that. So these would need to go, but we would need their parent object. And so stage needs I guess like object, game object. I think OBJ, does that work? Or does that create confusion? No, it should be alright. So then for each of these we need to say planes.obj equals planes.obj. Oh, hey Gio, welcome back. That's great. That's great that you've like looked at the game and said I can do more. That's always a good thing. But don't rush it, you know. Always drastically overestimate how long you think a game is going to take to create. But yeah, I think it's going well. I've been complaining today because it's too hot. I had to go and do some annoying stuff this morning. Which at least got my exercise out of the way, but you know. And I hate doing I hate doing environment art. I've realized, like, while obviously I love doing game design and I like coding and I can manage doing, and I quite enjoy doing like fire animations and stuff, and I quite like drawing faces. And I kind of like drawing weapons and sprites. I really don't like drawing static objects. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think the demo's in a fairly good place. But, yeah. I'm going to want a lot of feedback after I've done all of this stuff. And, yeah, I mean, hints for anyone, like, putting out their own game. I already did the Next Fest for this game and sort of put the demo out. If I were to turn back time, I would not have released for Next Fest at least until loads of this stuff is done. So, but yeah, like I need to kind of get all of this done, and then we're going to get to the point where basically the game is finished. It just requires balancing and little bits of polish here and there. And that's when I'm going to announce the release date. And that would be a good time to check out the game and give me feedback and try out the balancing and see if you enjoy it. And I should be able to get you, like, if you're here and if you jump into the Discord, I can probably just get you a key to the game, to the beta, so you can play the latest version. But we're not quite there yet. I want to do more before I release the next version. Because each version release I have to do like translations and stuff and to make sure all the cheats are switched off, and I'd just rather not. Okay, so each of these is assigned to an object. That's good. And so I need to have those objects, and now we've got, yeah, okay, so we need to make the code compile. Yeah, I like drawing faces, and I really like animating things. I think that's always fun. Well, I don't really like it. What I really like is designing games, but it's all these other things I have to do to make it work. But you know, we're having fun here. I really like the rocks that I did just now. It's a complete rip of the Don't Starve ones, but done in our art style, and I'm really proud of that form of theft. If Clay wants to give me a cease and desist, I'll happily cease and desist over the shape of the rock, because it is very much the exact same as the one from Don't Starve, but it's flattery. They should take it as flattery. Don't Starve is one of my favourite games of all time. New stage, character select dot stage, yeah, dot obj, and that should go in stages transform. Stage transform. And so then we don't need to then switch on the object. We've just instantiated it. Okay. So here, new stage, that should be it. And then here, we don't even need this. We haven't actually set up any scenery for the bridge, because there may not be any scenery for the bridge, you know. you've already probably put 2 hours in by the time you get to the bridge. So I think I'm just going to make it an empty PNG. Gotcha, bitch. You play for 2 hours. No, but I think I'm just going to have the bits, like the bits of the bridge kind of moving a little bit. I don't know. We'll see how that works. We'll make it look nicer. At the moment, it looks crap. Okay. Find game objects with tag. That's not exactly performant, but connector encoder. I don't know what that's all about. My encoder's connected fine, and I've got no dropped frames or anything. So, yeah. Oh, nice. Oh, I like Game Maker's Toolkit. Yeah, that's a good thing to do. I mean, I would definitely recommend that. Is just make lots of little games, lots of little jams and stuff. And I think game jams are a good idea. I should listen to my own advice there. I'm constantly making games that take too long to make, and I don't bother with game jams. But that's just like, I'm a bit weird, you know. Yeah. I'll go for a cigarette in a bit. So yeah, we crack some bricks. And so what we need to do here... This wasn't on the list, but this kind of needs doing. So we just need to, instead of turning objects on and off, we should have them as prefabs, especially for the stages, and especially if they do actually have a fair bit of stuff in them. Like, how long really does it take to spawn a bunch of little items? Not long, but yeah. Oh yeah, cheers, you too. Thanks for dropping by. Yeah, so where was I? Prefabs. So yeah, we need to go into scenes. Oh wait, no, we were first. We have to. I know we don't have those prefabs. We need to make those prefabs. Okay, main game. And then, yeah, we've got scenery, stage transform. So that would be here. And then each of these needs to be in a prefab. So we go prefabs, and I'll make a new one, new folder called stages. And each of these should be a prefab, and they should be switched on. And I don't know if it's like going to take longer to instantiate the prefab or just have it there on the map, like which is more performant. But I think it's probably better, especially if we add more stages. Just don't have massive objects switched off in the scene. I don't think that is easier. And then also as prefabs, I can kind of jump in and out of them a bit easier. Oh, phone died. Here's the bridge if you're curious. Oh god, is that what is that water texture? Okay, yeah. And luckily we have those water bits. So it is just like, that's not a bridge. What we need is like a rope link fence here, and it would be cool if there were little gaps in between these bits kind of moving up and down, and if the water was the same water as the that we have on the map with the little ripples coming up and down. I think that would be quite nice. And then, you know, it's fairly simple. The level design is all about the shape of it more so than the look. So the thing about the bridge is that here allied units spawn from the left, enemies spawn from the right with no exception, except like towers and stuff. So it just kind of creates more of a momentum-based level. And then I don't know if that means you're just very likely to hit the wall. I think the thing to do would be probably have some kind of repeating texture or something, but I guess we want to, one of the things we need to do is try each level, and then that's when we get into the territory of like, okay, if we're trying each level, that's time that we're spending balancing and stuff. Yeah, I'd say that's a good idea before starting on story. So yeah, okay, we have our prefabs, and then we can go back to title screen. Get stuff where we have stages, and that's where we will pop in these new prefabs. So there's the bridge, there's the planes, There's the ramparts. And that should be better. Did we in fact delete them from main game? No, we did not. Good. Okay, that should work. Alright. Great. So yeah, UI glow up, ramparts, add barriers to the edge of the ramparts. So let's go ahead and do that. So the best way to jump into ramparts. So yeah, stages, ramparts. Oh dear, that's taking a while. Okay. So here we have ramparts and we can see the edges, invisible wall L. And actually I think this should be at -500. And invisible wall R should be at 500. And then what it should be the case is if we're here, we can't see off, if the camera's about here, we're fully zoomed out, we can't see off the edge of the map. So then what we want to do is take, yeah, I'm glad to be getting this done today. My morale was at 0. But I'm glad we've actually got a few things done. So that's good. Alright, so we'll get our boulder. And I guess now we do want to try having boulder 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we can do that. We just need to change the sprites. Alright, I'm gonna go for a quick smoke while that compiles. Be right back. Back. So yeah, we've got 3 boulders and we can change them to the different versions. The best energy drink is water. Right. So yeah, we can actually go ahead and give all of these, just point them at the other sprites, and then all we have to do is re-import that sprite sheet with the new bits to make it work. And then over in title screen, go stuff, stages, no, main game, scenery, and then that just needs to point to boulders 2 and 3, and then when we change the sprite sheet to have different versions, then that should just all be ready to go. Okay, so then back to stages, prefabs, stages, ramparts. And okay, so our catchers are a little further out. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Let's grab them. Returners. And these are just little objects that if for whatever reason you did get knocked out of the scene, then these would catch you and put you back in. So then we want to have scenery, boulders, 1, 2, 3, let's just say, and we're going to want those, let's just put them in boulder, wall, R. And probably, yeah, I guess it's fine like this. Might be nice to just be able to grab the whole like chunk and move them all as one, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. So we'll just put those down here. So it's right at the edge, and it would just be like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and that should be fine. Let's get them arranged like that, and then the first 3 can actually be a bit more in, and then we can actually cover the whole thing. Let's take one more of these, put it up there. I don't know if that will interrupt the half wall. We'll see how it looks, but yeah, that's basically, it's kind of a natural-ish shape. It's a bit zigzaggy, will be fine. Yeah, and then we do the same thing. Let's just double check. Yeah, that should be about right. So you can't walk through those. So actually I think we can put these boulders just a little bit touch to the right. And then these ones all the way over to the other side. And we're going to have to kind of Okay, so it's going to be there. So yeah, under the pause button. Very professional standards here of how to do this. Under the pause button. So then return a L. Almost return a L. Oh, that didn't put that. -500. Should be about right, and we'll see how it feels. I mean, the aim is for the player to never actually get there, but if they did, it's just like, look, you've hit the edge of the level. Well done. Leave a bad review because the level was too small or didn't infinitely repeat, and then we can all move on with our lives. Okay, add barriers to edge of ramparts and bridge. And we probably could just use boulders on the bridge as well. Just kind of like, look, you found the edge, well done. Although bridge, I feel like the bridge really should repeat, like ad infinitum. But maybe because the bridge has less scenery, I can just make it like ridiculously big. Although, no, I think the bridge should repeat ad infinitum. So we go scenery. We don't even have any scenery. We will probably just put the rope, like the sort of edge of the bridge. And then you sort of think bridge, like, should it even be made of wood? If we're talking about like a serious bridge, but it's kind of like, it doesn't matter too much. It's a bridge that like a wagon with a cart could go over, and as long as it's maintained, it will work. So then we just need like posts with like the rope. I don't know. Let's find rope bridge. And what is... Yeah, so you'll have like a wooden bridge that has ropes on it. And what you might find is there's that sort of hang to it, but we're not really going to be able to do that unless it had several of them. But yeah, we just want some kind of netting at the back. So just looking at what I'm seeing on Google Images, like, yeah, rope bridge. So it's like that, but massive, basically. And so what we would expect to see is, like, can I see this a bit bigger? So we would expect to see, like, this is some kind of odd detail. So little wooden, so a big old rope and little wooden bits. But then what we might see, would we see like little like segmented bridge? So it kind of goes down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Not really. But you would have the planks with just some kind of like... And I like these wooden bits popping out just to hold up a rope. Or we could go with like the full netting. But yeah, just like a square grid netting seems to work quite well. Triangular one is probably more structurally sound. Could go something a bit more like this, because that's actually like a wooden bridge. So I think like posts with, yeah, like a wooden fence for the bridge. So let's make that clear. New wooden floor, slightly animated, and wooden posts with ropes between the edge. Is the edges. Okay, yeah, we're getting there. Needed to kind of like flush my brain a bit yesterday, just dealing with so much in the game and outside of the game, in and outside of work. But you know, that's we don't want that. Well, I don't mind you seeing that, but breaks the illusion a little bit. Okay, cool. So yeah, so that's an easy one to add, but we did this. Add barriers to edge of ramparts, but we'll need that for the bridge as well. So should we just quickly... I think we can take... Let's just copy those. And then go to prefabs, stages... and bridge. We have our invisible walls, so we can... So I do need to think about how are we doing the edges here, because we could quite easily say, so here's a chunk, and a chunk comes with the C behind it and the bridge. And so if we can take a chunk, and so we'll have to put in some code here basically. And I need to take a moment to think about how to do this. So we've got the invisible walls. Let's make a little chunks. And essentially what I can do is just have the bridge move with you. So if you move too far, let's say if you were, so that's 400, if you were, let's say 500 units away from one of these chunks, so it would be this chunk would have a script, or something would have a script that would say, if I get 500 segments to the right of the bridge, so if my X position is 500 higher than a chunk, then that chunk should move, that's like a specific amount. It won't be 1,000, but let's just say it moves up by, how wide are these? So we go chunk, so that should be here. No, here's chunk, yeah, chunk 0. Should have them in order. So chunk 1 is minus 400. So, okay, so if I am 800 in front of a chunk, then the chunk should move 1,600, something like that. Okay, so I'm going to put like a script on here, and I'll call this, and then we're going to have this for the Demon Palace as well, so I shouldn't just call this like bridge. I should call this, I don't know, I guess they could each have a different one, but I'll just call this like infinite chunks. And we'll put it in our lovely tidy script folder. Okay. And then I think I'm going to have a list. Actually, I don't think we even need it to be public. So private list. Ah, for God's sake. Using system.collections.generic. I don't know if people tend to use arrays more, but I'm getting stuck in my ways. So private list game object chunks, new list game object, and then at start we go chunks.clear for each. And then we've got our transform public form chunks transform for each chunk, for each transform chunk in chunks transform. I wonder if these should be transforms instead of game objects. Okay, so then we generate our list of chunks by what's in the transform. And then we'll do like every, say like 5 seconds. So it's really going to be performant. Float timer equals 10f. Timer minus equals time dot delta time. If timer is less than 0. Timer equals 10f, and then we do the thing. So we say for each transform chunk in chunks. If chunk dot position dot x is less than close brackets is less than gm dot player dot c dot player dot position transform dot position dot x and that will be position dot x. So like we want to measure the distance between them. So if float, well, the distance will be float distance equals chunk dot position dot x minus gm dot player dot. Okay, I'm not very good at this, so I'm gonna have to run through this in my head a little bit. So if I so here's bridge chunk 1. If I walk over here, I'll be at 0, so that'll be a difference of 400. So this would be 0 minus, no, this would be, I'm so not good at this. I could get an AI to do it, but I'll kind of, that'll end up doing it in some funky way that isn't very readable, and I want to understand what I'm doing. So chunk.position.x minus, so that'll be 400 minus 0. But if the player is at 200, it will be 400 minus 200. But basically that's the distance. And then so if the chunk is at 0 and I'm at 0, that'll be 0. If the distance is, if I'm here in relation to this chunk, I'll be at, wait, so I need to select the chunks properly. So that's minus 400. Okay, so if I am, let's say 800 in front. So if I'm here, I'm at, so that will be minus 400 minus 800, which would be 400, right? The difference between 800, no, that would be 1.2k. So let's see how we go. So then we just say if distance is greater than 1.2k, or if distance is less than minus 1.2k, right? Then chunk.transform.position equals new vector 3. We could just say like plus equals, so chunk.transform.position. I mean, it's just going to be 0. 0 on the y is 0, so we'll just go something 0, 0. And so this would be chunk.transform.position.x plus, let's say 1200, right? No, it would have to be like 2,400. So these numbers might be off, but the theory should be, and then it would be minus, right? So I've moved way too far to the left of this thing. So then this thing should move like that. And as long as it's moving in a multiple of 400, then it should sync up. And yeah, I guess I want to try that. So I probably could make like a sort of really sophisticated environment to test this, but I think the easy way for now is just going to be to jump into a bridge game and just see if I can get that to happen, and I can like speed up time to make myself go a bit faster and that kind of thing. Okay, bug straight away. Okay, and of course, as always, I'm too stupid to set these things up. So we go into our prefab, stages, bridge, and we just need to set this up, trunks transform. And what we should expect to see is that as I move from chunk to chunk, it's going to just like move the thing. And then we'll see about, like, so we're not going to need these edges, but I might need to, like, the top and bottom invisible walls might have to move. Okay, so here I am. Let's just see if anything's gone wobbly. Okay. So far, so good. Nothing's like randomly started going weird. And so where is the chunk roughly? Where am I? Oh, this is the prefab. Okay. Where is the player? There we are. So if we zoom right out. Okay, so in theory, if I move to the left, I should see this starting to work. So that is indeed. So yeah, I should be able to. Let's see this happen. I should probably put like a debug. Hold on a sec. That looks like it worked. Let's go a bit further. Bit of overlap here. I guess the chunks aren't perfectly in line. Let's see. Well, what should happen is I'll be able to hit the invisible wall and I'll just see that the chunks have like moved. Let's double check. So timer minus equals time dot time. If timer is 0, yeah, so that should be happening. Rearranging, so we'll just do no, I should have healed myself. Okay, but I did seem to be unable to find the edge. Okay, so let's try that again with the debugs on now. And then I guess we can start setting up the sides. So we'll want the north and south barriers to stop people from, you know, the invisible walls. We'll need them to be in part of the chunks. So they'll just move along with that system. Oh, wrong level. Right, so where are the invisible walls? Stages. Wait, it didn't. That should have. Why didn't it spawn it in stages? So that would be stage transform. Yeah, that should be there. Should be tidier, but that's. Should actually have a header. Yeah, stage. Oh, so we don't have that. Okay, fine. Must have done that like while the game was playing. Okay, minor thing, but. Oh, I see. Because yeah, no, that shouldn't be a problem. The stages doesn't get reset. So where was it? Stages transform. There we go. I swear I did this. Maybe I did it while it was in play, so it didn't save. Ugh, rookie mistakes. Give me anything, please. Thank you. And then stages bridge. So this guy is here. So what I want to see is that the chunk has gone like over one of those lines. So let's see. Can I heal? I can. Moving chunk to the right, apparently. Did I just get that wrong? Okay, it looks like it's moved like way too far. So it's kind of like... so infinite chunks, I think two, so this actually should be 1,200. If that's the distance. What should happen is I'll eventually hit the invisible wall. How close am I to that? This is, in my case, with my sort of somewhat lacking intelligence, it's going to be a bit of trial and error to get this right. Okay, so it looks like we found the edge. And apparently we have been moving chunks. Okay, and it looks like I've probably just got this the wrong way around. So it's like they're moving the wrong way. Could probably get some help from some AI, but it's fine. It's good brain training to kind of figure it out yourself, and then I should be able to do it without any help. And yeah, we are a little bit inefficient getting to the scene, getting to be able to test this, but not too bad. Okay. I think I'm just going to take the dude, and I think I should be able to just really just move him so we can save a bit of that. Or does that just move me back? I think. I know that worked good. Okay, so let's update those chunks. Should be like not long now. So what should have happened, let's go stages, chunks. So I think the number was correct. It's just it was going in the wrong direction. And it is going to have to be like, I can't just teleport because then I will like miss chunks. I have to be kind of solid that I'm not going to be able to get through a chunk in less than... Should we just run this more often? Save compiling that for now. Okay, that seems to have worked. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it's moved those chunks to the left, and we have our path set out for us. So let's just do that a bit more. See if I can hit the wall. It's too tempting. Just cheat my way through. That's fine. Just want to have that cover. It looks, I've got to say, it does just look like this is working. Quite pleased. Love the new status effects. Okay, yeah, we've hit the wall. But it looks like we've got plenty of bridge left and the chunks are not overlapping each other. So I'm pretty confident that if I ran to the right now, should we just do that? That we would... let's get the boots. Faster, that we would yeah, we wouldn't have any issues. Yeah, and so we're getting the moving chunk to the right message. So let's just quick once over. Yep, this is working. Lovely. Okay, I'm pleased with that. So now, a couple things we need to do. We need to go into none of these scenes, but the prefab, stages, bridge, in your own time, mate. And then the returner L, returner R, invisible wall L, invisible wall R do not exist. And I'm worried about like freaky like physics interactions once we get to... I think it's just raycast. Raycast acts really funky when you get close. When you get too far off 0. So then these invisible wall parts should be smaller. I guess, yeah, so the size is, I think it's 400 per, like, unit. Yeah. So we go invisible wall, left and right. These should exist inside the chunks. So we copy and paste this into each one. If you want to avoid this kind of copy and pasting, use prefabs. At this point, it doesn't make much difference to me. So we've always got our top and bottom invisible walls, and I've been a fool because I should also be putting these in. So let's do that. I can actually just put them all in. And then grab all of them and just set their expos to 0. So anything that is a invisible should have an expos of 0, a local expos of 0, and anything that is a returner should have an expos of 0, 2. And then we've got this bridge that should run infinitely. So that's quite fun, isn't it? Infinite level, infinite size level. So yeah, that's an achievement. So that has completed the task of adding barriers, because now in the ramparts, if you get to the edge, you'll find some rocks blocking you rather than just staring off the face of the map. And in the bridge, you will just keep going forever, because that level does expect you to keep running. And then the infinite chunks, we are going to have another level that's similar to the bridge. I mean, we may have more, but so far we've got planned just one more, which would be Demon Palace, where it's the exact same thing, except instead of left to right, you're going south to north. Where we'll just kind of do a similar thing here, but can be the same script. Or maybe I'll just make a separate script. Infinite chunks vertical, infinite chunks horizontal. We'll see. Cross that bridge when we come to it, which might be soon. But that is that done. The odd cracked short wall for the ramparts. Sure, why not? We are kind of in the details stage. So essentially what I want to do is find, like, yeah, actually, you know what, I'm just going to cut this, actually. It's because it's a bit tricky to do it justice. And we've already got, I don't feel like it's lacking in looks. So that just leaves us to the bridge, where we will want to, so let's take a look. And it's quite handy just being able to jump into the prefabs now. Double click. And so first of all, the water is wrong. So we might just need to redo the chunks entirely, but one thing at a time. So I think these is this bit. Interesting. So how does the scale of this work? It should be 4 times 100 should be 400, right? I think it's just the texture doesn't quite. So yeah, that absolutely matches in terms of the scale. It's just that the image itself, I think, is not a multiple of 400. So if we go to, so we're gonna have to have a look at that anyway. Let's open it now, and let's get a quick look at. I think we're looking for floors. What's wrong? So sprites, floors, bridge plank. Okay, it's just. I see. Right. Okay. Yeah, but that makes sense. So that's a bridge plank. But how big is a bridge plank? 64. It should be a nice clean multiple of something we can easily multiply into 400. Which I guess this doesn't. So if we made these planks, I mean, I think the width is about right. How does that feel in terms of like the width? Is that the right width? Let's just make it 60 then. Damn it. Because if we can make them like 50, then we just know how to tile this up, right? And I guess, would 50 feel too thin? Do I really want to compromise on the chunk width? Like maybe this should actually be, if that's 64, then this would be like 64. And then actually it edges up perfectly. And then a chunk. Let's say. This is probably all going to change, but let's just make that like that. And so this is the exact same width. And should seam nicely. Should like be seamless. Might need the length to return to 5 here, so. Why isn't that doing anything? Okay, yeah, let's just make that a nice round 100. I'm gonna change that anyway, but okay, so then we do multiples of 64. So chunk 1, and then yeah, the invisible wall would be, we just have it at 1, and then we have it, what, 3, 2, 5, 6. That's 64 times 2, isn't it? Yep. So that's nice and round. And then so what we can do is just get rid of all the other chunks. So this is bridge chunk. Should we, let's make a prefab. After doing all of this, or after doing all that pasting in, now is the time to make a prefab. So we go, let's just put it in scenery, because this is where chunks are a thing. So bridge, and I guess this counts as scenery. So we pop in bridge chunk there, and then we can have, and then so the number won't be multiples of 400 anymore. So what would this be? 544. Is that a, that seems like a sort of a ripe number, if that makes sense. Let's put this in the, where do we start the player? Let's put this at 0. Two, 5, 6. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, 2, 5, 6. Yeah, that's why. That's why it didn't feel like the right kind of number. 2, 5, 6. And I think we probably only need that many, so then we'll just do 2 in the back. So this will be minus 2, 5, 6 and minus 5, 1, 2. And then, so the number we're looking for, so the distance between 1 and this one at the back is 512. So instead of asking for if distance is greater than 512, then we move 124, 1024. Let's try that. So that's our number. Okay. And let's just give that a quick try. I think that'll work though. I'm pretty confident that'll work. It's just we've changed the number. And that way, because I think this is the right length of, this is the right sort of width of plank. I think that's fine. I don't want to change that to, I don't want to compromise the width of this plank from 64 if that is the right number, just to accommodate the chunks, right? So let's stick to that. Let's stick to that scale. Oh, can we not go to the map from there? Okay, so scenes. Oh, it did. Okay, never mind. Title screen. Let's just quickly check that that's working, and I think that's like a good sort of like, all right, now we just need to make, we've got those like funky awkward things out of the way of like getting those map edges working right. So now what we need is just to focus on the look of it, which does make it a bit easier to pass cognitively. And yeah, I'm pretty confident this is going to work, but did we just move a chunk to the left? Why did we do that? Okay, and what we should see is that the chunks don't intersect with each other. They do. Okay, let's just give it a chance. Oh shit! I forgot to keep myself healed. God, those goblins are strong. Right? Did we do anything? It looks like, even though I marched to the left quite a bit, I am actually in the middle of the scene. It's a bit annoying that some of the chunks have seemed to overlap each other. But I feel like that should just kind of sort itself out. Let's try that one more time. And then I think I'm going to leave it there because it's today is not the day. Right. Okay, let's see. Moving chunk to the left. Okay, so I wanted to move a chunk to the left for some reason. Moving chunk to the right.
Let Daddy see you.
Painty boy.
Yeah.
Who's this little artiste?
No, you're missing out on Phoenix. It's just I can't. You wanna go? You wanna say hi?
Who's this painty boy? Who's this little painty monster? Oh, I died. Oh, never mind.
Come on, then.
But that looks like it's working. I'm just gonna like assume that this is working. The chunks don't overlap each other, although sometimes there's two in the same spot. But I reckon that would kind of actually that shouldn't be happening. No, Phoenix, you can't have
Oh
that.
shoot. Hold on.
A bamba jamba.
Hold on.
A baba babum. You can have that.
So it's really hot in the UK. So we are not presentable.
It's hot in the UK. Sorry, what?
And we're not presentable.
Oh, I see, yeah. Wait, are some of these... I guess it feels like they're overlapping just because of the way... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think that is probably just working. Okay, good. Right, I'm happy with that. So this is achieved. So I've got a choice now. I can either... Yeah, I can either start... just kind of start the game. Or I can finish the stages... Or just do a kind of bits of random testing. Maybe I'll do a bit of random testing. Let's do a run. Let's do an earnest run at the bridge and just see how much fun we have. And then I'll leave it there. I feel like hammerers, so I need to go into characters. I guess it's fun that there's one human character that's a bit bigger but spawns a bit slower. So yeah, let's go free play, choose the bridge. No, let's do ramparts. Ramparts is fun. I haven't done it in a while. See if we can get to the edge. And then yeah, we'll leave it there. Because we do need to, I do need to just play a bit to kind of assure myself that things are all working as intended. Okay, what should we go with? Let's go with priests. Obviously pick the first combo we see. It's generally a good choice in this game. So we'll go for like paladins maybe. Paladin build. Ranger seems fun. Generally good to pick units early on because then you get to that sort of big mass and you can kind of get to the point where the enemy can barely touch you because there's just too many of you and you just kill them before they can do you any damage. But you see how that priest almost died in one hit? I think the game is balanced. We'll see. Bit of Stuttering there. Okay, so we don't need... Yeah, let's just get stronger soldiers. And let's have slightly fuller screen. I should probably be playing from a build for better performance. But you know, if a bug does come up, because we're sort of at that stage. So yeah, I need to make this a background. This is the background it was made for, so I think it works. But it could be just a bit nicer, just a bit more detail to it, maybe. And it should like pop out and then bop, or each thing pops out. It should be more animated. It's not going to look pretty, but I think this just kind of very basic backdrop is nice, and then we can kind of probably improve. Although this kind of works. Let's see. Okay, let's go with the soldier. Okay, if we've got the soldier, getting the bannerman, we've already got that synergy covered. Let's get armor. Wait, did the new guys get armor? Don't know if I'll be able to see it. I think we need, because I did just change it so that when you apply upgrade, okay, we remove replaced upgrades. I think we want like armor bar. Dot set active true. When do we do that? Initialize bars. So I think when we apply talent, and then so yeah, remove replaced upgrades. If upgrade is weapon, if upgrade is a talent. And so I think when we do this, we should do, wait, not initialize bars, hold on. Okay, yeah, that resets the HP. Okay. I could just copy paste this. So what is this? This is after someone takes damage, or no, it's after they get a buff. All right, so wait, if they've gotten the buff, then it should work. Okay. Units not immediately getting armor when I unlock armor. That's something to test. I mean, it's fine. It's just I thought I'd fix that. So that when they spawn in, they have the armor, but yeah, and it's great. You can see at a glance that the priest has much lower HP because it is a ranged healing unit. So, do we have synergies? Yeah, so they'll combine. So I can get the hammerer. Okay, I do like fireballs. Lovely. So yeah, it's just a couple minor differences in this kind of level. So a narrower space means enemies are more likely to be clumped together. So things like meteors and stuff like that works better. Okay, what should we get? None of these have synergies yet, so I think hammer will be fun. I wonder if now that I have the chunk system, if I should do it in the same way for this level, so there is no edge to this level, it just keeps going. I wonder if that would be fun. Or if it's fine for this level, because we do actually expect you to be moving backwards and forwards. So if you find the edge, it's not like the level breaks. Suppose damage, get something that combos. It's been a very good start as expected. Let's get damage, armor and damage. What more could you want? No need to complicate things with critical hits and stuff. Just give me armor and damage and health. What's that? Why did I get a blank buff? I think like that was a debuff. Okay. Why is this breaking the... Oh, it's because we're loading. Because we've just... He's got a bomb. So it should be not a combined weapon for sure. That's too OP. So when we spawn the hero, so this will be enemy spawner. Enemy hero. Then if it's a boss, so I think that's actually back in here, boss buff. And we get random weapon. If upgrade dot combined. And it would have to be a tier 1 weapon. So we're going to write some more spaghetti here. If upgrade dot combined, so the upgrade can't be combined. And it can't contain... It can only be tier 1. We don't actually store which tier it is, which probably we should, but if upgrade.name 0.contains that, or so this is very, very hacky and spaghetti, but it should work. And it will be if it doesn't, and if the upgrade doesn't contain 3. And if it doesn't contain a 4. So this is a very hacky way to do it, but for now it'll work. Because yeah, I don't think he should have upgraded weapons. That's a bit much. And I don't think he should have... Maybe we can upgrade his weapons as we go, but I think best just to keep it simple. And the loading while he's chatting isn't really doing it for me. Oh, wow. Yeah, I think he just used a bomb. And also his HP seems to be, like, all weird. So how much HP does he have? So, well, we found a bug. This is to be expected for sure. So get me the enemy hero, please. Just grab him manually without having to go into the hierarchy. Thank you. So how much HP do you have, sir? 4,211,996. Okay, how did that get so absurdly high? So we're gonna have to investigate that a bit. It's fine. This is all to be. We were expecting bugs here. So 4. So are we multiplying his health by 4 there? And did we not set up a thing that if the health is too high, then we stop cracking it up like that? That the lines, because I think we can't see his HP bar because of the lines. No? An HP slider bar. There we go. There with the lines. He's just got too many lines. So that's how much damage we did to him. But also he had like grenades, which is like a really powerful move. So he was able to just demolish us. And then how did his HP get that high? So characters, Cruel has hero HP, which is 100. Okay, so how did that get all the way up to that amount? So we will go debug.log new character container dot character dot max HP. Like, unless it's getting multiplied several times somehow. Okay, yeah, this is going to be... have to be a switch case, I think. Or we just do an else. Oh yeah, I think it's gone. It's done this and it's done this. So, like 100 times 4 is 400, and then 400 times 6, we start to get into the thousands range. Okay, that's nice. All right, so we'll have to do a switch case. So, switch hud.minutes, and then we do case. And how do we say, is it less than 3? How do I like access the thing that I'm doing a case for? Okay, fine. I don't need to learn anything today. We will just do if hud.minutes is less than 3. Do a lovely spaghetti else case. I guess we could do it backwards, like, so if hud.minutes is less than 3, if hud.minutes is less than 8, I think each time we're giving him, we're just going to give him a random weapon, so that doesn't need to be there. We can just give him the weapon. And then we're using this lovely, delicious spaghetti to add greater and greater buffs. So if because he actually, so yeah, 5, 10, 15, and then he doesn't show up at 20. So we don't need, like, that's why it feels weird, but actually, yeah, he would never appear before 5 minutes. Yeah, that works. That should work. Okay, good. And then, yeah, we should they should never have such ridiculous amounts of HP bar lines, because their HP should never get that high. But we'll see. We'll see if it does. And then we can create, like, if there's too many lines, then, like, make them a different color or something. Okay. And get rid of every 10th, and only keep every 10th one. All right, well, I'm really proud of myself. I did the distance today because, yeah, like, I keep whinging and moaning that it's not been the best day for me, and I don't like doing this very much. But that has been really good progress today, I think. So next time we play, tomorrow. And I think I could do a morning session tomorrow, but I think I'm just going to stick to the afternoon sessions and do work in the morning, and then I can just recap you on that, more time efficient. So let's do new wooden floor. Let's do the wooden post with the ropes between. Let's sort out, change the water color, add ripples, and then the war camp would just be like I think we need like a dead grass color or like a dying grass color, but yeah, we'll have the war camp where it will look like the orc camp, but we'll just have like tents, and you just have to navigate around the tents. Like, I hadn't thought to add that, but like, yeah, so war camp, tents, but we could also have like more boulders, tree stumps. Totems is confusing because totems are actually a thing you can have. Like, that's a unit, so we won't add totems as a background object. And yeah, maybe we'll go ahead and just do all the stages. I need to do some or all of these, and I think UI kind of does well if I do it all together. If I just get into a UI headspace, and if I can get into a stages headspace, and that'll be good. And actually pull from the future, do the graveyard, do the demon palace, and the scorched lands. So we might need to do a bit of thinking about, like, yeah, I think I need like a damaged grass color. We've got like evil, dark, undead lands grass, but we need like a, here is the grass that has been trodden on a lot, and how are we going to make that work? I guess little bits of mud exposed and things like that. So that should be fun. So yeah, thanks very much for joining today, everyone who joined. Not a terrible turnout. And I will let you know. You'll see a notification when I'm scheduled, probably 1 p.m. tomorrow. So have a good evening. Enjoy the heat. Cheers. Bye.